Hello and welcome to Global Warming TV with your host, Craig Baker. Today we'll be interviewing Claire, who is a climate crisis activist. She consistently participates in the group known as Extinction Rebellion to help fight the climate crisis. But before I interview Claire, let's take a look at how dairy farms impact global warming and how they encourage greenhouse gases to be formed.
Animal agriculture is the leading cause of man-made global warming, overtaking all the fossil fuels combined. This is because methane produced by cattle is 22 times more potent in heating our atmosphere than CO2. So who is the largest agricultural culprit? It's factory farms. From birth to slaughter, thousands of animals at a time are kept on factory farms and are regarded as commodities to be used for profit. They're bred to grow unnaturally fast and large inside horrible concrete buildings for the purpose of maximising meat and dairy production for the food industry. I will be investigating the differences in greenhouse gas emissions in factory farms compared to organic farms and their contribution towards global warming. So today I took a trip to Osgood Farm in West Sussex and spoke to organic farm owner Tracy Osgood to see how she felt about factory farms.
We're a small family farm, and they've given us all a bad name, basically. I know it's the supermarkets and things like that have brought on the factory farms because they're producing high volumes but low quality milk compared to a small volume and very high quality. We do everything ourselves. The emissions we're producing is far less because we keep our animals out, so the CO2 emissions are being absorbed by the grass. We track our CO2 emissions, and they have separate people coming out to monitor. They come onto your farm and they do your electricity usage, your water, the feed that you're doing, and general things like that. Our cows are out at pasture a good 9-10 months a year. We're completely at one with them. Mark, my husband, he is with them the whole time. He milks twice a day. He works on the farm. We are a very small family business. We know all the cows individually.
So in terms of sustainability, what can be done? Supporting organic farms where cattle is put on pasture and isn't just regarded as a commodity is a great place to start. Organic farms have improved breeding and animal health, which allows cattle to be more productive, resulting in smaller herds, less methane production, and overall more sustainability. Organic farms produce 40% less greenhouse gas emissions compared to factory farms, as well as being hugely more ethical. The only reason these things happen is because we pay for them. All you simply have to do is change your diet and the people you pay.
That was a great insight into how much the dairy industry affects global warming. Now, Claire, thank you for being here, first of all.
Pleasure.
What do you think is the leading cause of global warming?
I would say it's consumerism, particularly in the northern hemisphere of the planet, because every single thing we make on this planet, we take from this planet. Whether that's food or timber or textiles for clothing, everything from a paperclip to a spaceship, we extract it in some way, shape or form from the planet. And of course, we're also extracting energy at the moment currently in the form of fossil fuel to drive the manufacturing process, to drive the distribution process. And very sadly, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of that stuff then ends up in landfill.
It does. And so you mentioned consumerism is the main culprit, and that's part of consuming fossil fuels and paper clips and rocket ships, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But consumerism is a personal thing. And what personally have you done to make a change to help with this?
The biggest impact I've been able to have on my carbon footprint is to stop flying. I've been teaching once a year in America now for the last 12 years, and when I looked at the impact that single return flight had on my carbon footprint, it was more than 50%. So that's been massive. We now lease an electric car, and we also live in a building that is completely eco. So most of the time we are generating our own electricity to power up our hi-fis and our fridges. We heat our own hot water. We have ground source heat pump. So we are as eco as we can possibly get on that front, and trying to eat less dairy and meat. And everything we do consume on that level is from regenerative farming.
That's really great to hear. Thank you. So let's take a look at what is actually happening to our forests and how what's happening to our forests is affecting global warming.
Between 2018 and 2019, the global logging industry was worth an estimated 130 billion US dollars. These materials would be primarily sourced from the likes of the Amazon rainforest, the Congo rainforest, and the East Siberian taiga. It is estimated that around a quarter of the Congo Basin rainforest is actually being dispensed for commercial logging. It could be argued that the companies in question that are carrying out these commercial activities are said to be operating within the confines of legality and the peripheries of morality. Between the year 2000 and 2009, it's estimated that over 32 million acres of tropical rainforest has been cut down. According to the Environmental Defence Fund, this will help contribute to over 200 billion tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions. One of the primary functions of a tree is to absorb CO2 carbon dioxide emissions. A young tree, on average, can absorb around 13 pounds per year, or an older, more mature tree, such as the one standing behind me, can absorb around 48 pounds per year. This conveys a critical issue, considering that 30% of the Earth's surface is actually forest, which is being decimated and destroyed at an unprecedented rate. Between the year 1990 and 2016, over 500,000 square miles of forest has been destroyed. This equates to roughly the same landmass as the country of South Africa. Because of the current methods used by the commercial logging industry, it does pose the question, is there a better way? Is there a better way to reduce CO2 emissions and greenhouse gases without harming Mother Nature? Scientists say that over half of the damage can be easily avoided. An example of this could be having pre-planned cuts to the vines which connect other treetops, which in turn will help reduce collateral damage. Another example would be to tighten regulations on countries such as Bolivia and Peru, where around 70% of their timber production is happening internally in the country. Although these are only merely two examples out of a plethora of different options, I believe the primary focus should be that we need stronger government regulation and a level of conformity in the international business world with regards to deforestation and logging. Once we have this in place, I truly believe that we'll be taking the right step in the right direction.
So that was a very interesting look at the effects of deforestation. Now, Claire, as we just saw, obviously deforestation is affecting our planet, and the main culprits are these big corporate companies. Obviously, stopping deforestation would affect these companies, and do you think that it's economically sustainable for these big corporations to stop?
I don't think they have to stop. I think they have to be hugely more responsible about their approach. We use timber. Timber is important to us, but we cannot just clear cut all of the forests of the world because they're the lungs of the world. So I think it's time for big business and industry to start thinking more creatively about how they actually extract. And for every tree they cut down, they've got to plant 5 more. Simple as that. And yes, it'll hurt. It'll hurt.
A lot of people watching this show will be young people, around my age, that sort of thing, in their 20s. What advice would you give them? Yeah.
First of all, get off your asses, engage and be active. Demand that your government and big business take action now to handle fossil fuels, to go for a greener future. Lobby, write to your MP. Yes, it's boring. Yes, you never get a reply, but it's worth doing. And if they ignore you, you can report them to the Speaker of the House of Commons. Get out there, hit the streets and protest, and accept that you won't have the benefit of global travel that I had, but be happy with what Europe and England can offer you. and consume less.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. So unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. Massive thank you, Claire, for coming in. So make sure to check out our social media and our website for any questions you might have. Thank you and good night.